All right, Henry Cejudo, congratulations. You have officially left me confused. I'm so confused by this. Guys, there is a fine line between genius and insanity, right? Certainly, you have heard this adage, but it's very true. Now, Henry Cejudo's a genius. He's a genius at wrestling, he's a genius athlete. Turns out he's a genius at marketing. Who would have known that? He's a brilliant fighter, boxer, kickboxer, grappler, jujitsu, condition. I mean, he's the total package, but he's a little bit nuts. No way around it. And you have to, when you're dealing with guys like this, you're dealing with these artists, you're dealing with these greats. It is so important and difficult to know what makes them tick. And you're basically left to take a guy at his word. But Henry's words have always been hard for me to swallow. Henry does very well, okay? He makes a bunch of money. But he keeps saying, I'm in this for the money. I want more money. Okay, that's great. Who doesn't? I think we can accept that. But that's a tough one to look at when you look at a guy who amateur wrestled his whole life and not only didn't make a dollar at it, never had a potential of making a dollar at it, in fact, went the other way. He had to fly himself to events. UFC would never in a million years ask you to do something and not send you a plane ticket. He had to get his own hotel when he got there. UFC in a million years, even if it was not discussed, would never expect you to get your own hotel. Without even having a conversation, that's built in. Oh, by the way, they're going to pick you up from the hotel. You're going to have transportation the whole time. They're going to give you meal money. I'm just saying, in the world of wrestling, you're responsible for all of those things. And then when you want to enter an event, you got to reach into your pocket again. You got to buy a federation card. You got to put down what's called an entry fee. I mean, you guys get it. It's sport. That's the way sport works. So Henry comes from that, does some heavy lifting, some heavy training, some heavy traveling, some heavy grinding, and picks up some heavy earnings, picks up some heavy medals, gold. Goes into the pros, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness, what a different world this is. You're going to fly me somewhere? You're going to pick me up? I get my own room? You're going to pay for my meals? Wait a minute, there's something called a purse? Then he goes and reaches the highest standard. So the real reason I bring that up, the only reason I bring that up is it's a little bit conflicting. Okay, were you in it for the money or when you were in it for the accomplishment? Because for the first 20 years of your life, there was no money. It was all about accomplishment. For the next decade of your life, it was about accomplishment and money. Seems like a perfect world. Not for Henry. Not for Henry. This is where the genius insanity part comes in. Okay. Henry then goes to so he retires. Retires from the sport, which didn't feel right when he did it. It just didn't feel like a guy who believes himself to be the greatest combat athlete of all time, and by the way, might be right. He just might be right. Would walk away looking into a camera, speaking into a microphone in front of nobody. It just seems like someone like that is going to walk out to a standing ovation that he has more than earned. So it felt a little bit insincere. But then he goes to a press conference immediately after. Immediately. He was co-main event. There was one more match. I mean, we got 30 minutes, we got 40 minutes. He's at a press conference and he's saying, well, I would come back for the right number. Okay. So this is about the money. There is a way to get you back. Now, Dana has to take a guy at his word. He has to. So this whole business is on. If you have time to get a guy a contract, okay, great, but things can move real fast. It has to just be your word. So when Henry comes out and says it, Dana goes, look, I don't beg anybody to stay. If a guy's thinking about retiring, he should retire. But just so we're all clear on this, I'm going to be in Florida for another week. I got 2 more shows to do here. Then I'm going to fly to Vegas. That's going to be called a travel day. And then I'm going to go into the office, and that's going to be called Tuesday. And when I get back, if I do not have a different word that I can rely on, we will strip him. We will look at the rankings. Peter Yan, I can tell you off the top of my head, is going to be part of that fight. Who Peter's opponent is going to be, I'm going to find out. If Henry steps in, I'll tell you right now, he's taking on Peter Yan next. That's it. And I'm going to move on with my day. And I got 2 more shows with 22 more fights to do and a whole bunch of regulation. I'm going to... Conversation over. Okay. Really don't need to extend it. Dana's really told us everything that we possibly need to know. He did 2 more shows. He had a travel day. He went in on Tuesday. And Henry Cejudo was no longer the champion. And the reason that is very relevant and very powerful is twofold. First off, the way Henry's contract works. Okay. And Henry worked very hard to be champion. Very tough for me to see somebody lose a championship through the power of the pen. Now, if you walk away, you walk away. Lennox Lewis did it. George St. Pierre did it. Henry Cejudo will go down as the third combat athlete of all time to ever do it. And when he gets to be in the same category as Lennox Lewis and George St. Pierre, I mean, guys, Henry Cejudo's something special. Henry Cejudo is something very special. But amongst the retirement talk, he also came out and said, I will only return to take on Volkanovski. Now, when you talk about him taking off Volkanovski, it goes back not to the money Cejudo as of late. It goes back to the competitive Cejudo. He's looking for accomplishments. He's looking for achievements. He's looking to be the first ever champ. Which, in all fairness, would actually make him a 4-time champ because that Olympic medal not only was gold, it was at yet a different weight class that many people don't give Henry credit for. Reason I bring that up is I am left confused. If he does go into the Volkanovski match, that will largely be based around competition because Henry not being champion does not walk into pay-per-view points. He will walk into a much smaller contract. Should he beat Volkanovski, boom, he's right back on the take. The other side of it is if he has been stripped, which is significant because that means that he is retired. That is what that means. That means he's out of the USADA testing pool. And if he leaves the pool to return to the pool, it's 4 months. You must be in there 4 months before you can return. If you step out, you can be in there 2 months if you're a brand new athlete that hasn't done it before, and even an exemption can be given. It cannot be given if you're in it and you remove yourself. That gets even more confusing. At what date does he return and does he restart the clock? Now, I would venture to guess for you that everything I have told you here is accurate and should be, but isn't. I will venture to guess for you, though he has been stripped and though they are going to get on with it, he has not left the pool. Those should not go hand in hand, but I'm still willing to tell you my hypothesis would be he is still in the pool. That could change things. How you can keep a guy in the pool when he's retired, I really don't know. But you could retire and stay under contract. There's something called freezing a guy's contract. There's something called keeping a guy's contract. And there's something called releasing a guy from his contract. If you are not released, you're under contract. Even though retired, you could technically stay in the pool. That's a big deal, though. The pool's a big deal. If he sees an opening or an opportunity, he's got to be able to take it, and he can't take it unless he's in the pool. Do you guys see what I'm saying there? I don't really want to harp on that. I'm just saying there's a lot of repercussions and there's a lot of moving parts. There is 50% of me that wants to tell Henry, man, you did it. You did what everybody always said they were going to do. Get in, get on top, make your money, and get out. Everybody says it. 3 guys now have done it. You, Lennox, GSP. Incredible. There's another 50% of me that wants to call BS. So I don't know what you're doing here. Sounds like you cut off your nose to spite your face. I hope you know the game that you're playing. I hope you know the details of that contract. And Henry, you've left me impressed, but confused.